Let me give you two investors and let you decide which one wins. Investor 1 has an MBA from a top university. He understands derivatives, balance sheets, and macroeconomic cycles. He reads earnings reports for fun. He tracks 30 stocks simultaneously. He makes calculated, intelligent decisions based on deep research and real expertise. By every measure, he is the smartest person in the room. Investor 2 never studied finance. She has a basic brokerage account, owns 3 index funds, and checks her portfolio maybe twice a year. She doesn't know what a derivative is. She doesn't follow earnings calls. She doesn't have a strategy beyond invest regularly and wait. 20 years later, Investor 2 has more money. Not because she got lucky. Not because Investor 1 made stupid mistakes. But because intelligence, without patience, is one of the most dangerous things you can bring into a financial market specifically designed to punish impatience. And in this video I am going to show you exactly why patience is the single most valuable investing skill in existence, and how to develop it even when every instinct you have is screaming to do something. If you want your money to grow without losing your mind, hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps. Alright. Let's start with something that sounds deeply unfair. Smart people are worse investors on average than patient people. This is not an opinion. This is documented. A landmark study by Brad Barber and Terence O'Dean at the University of California analyzed the trading behavior of over 66,000 investors. Their finding was brutally clear. The more frequently investors traded, the worse their returns. And the most active traders, the ones making the most decisions, underperformed the least active traders by nearly 7% annually. 7% annually. Compounded over 20 years. That is the difference between a comfortable retirement and a devastating one. And who trades most frequently? Confident, intelligent, engaged investors. People who believe their analysis gives them an edge. People who feel they can see what others cannot. People whose intelligence becomes their greatest liability because it convinces them that doing something is always better than doing nothing. Here's why that instinct destroys returns. Financial markets are not puzzles waiting to be solved by the smartest analysts. They are ecosystems of millions of participants, algorithms, institutional money, global events, and human emotion all interacting simultaneously. No individual, regardless of intelligence, can consistently predict that system better than the market already prices in. Every time you make a trade, you are betting that you know something the entire market doesn't. Sometimes you're right. But over hundreds of decisions across years, the market wins. It almost always wins against the individual trying to outsmart it. Patience wins precisely because it stops fighting the market and starts letting the market do what it naturally does over time. Which is grow. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Because there is a specific psychological mechanism that makes patience so extraordinarily difficult. Even for people who intellectually understand it. It's called action bias. Research in behavioral psychology shows that human beings are hardwired to believe that doing something is always better than doing nothing. This bias evolved for survival. A hunter who froze when a predator approached died. Action meant survival. Inaction meant death. But in investing, that same wiring kills returns. When markets drop, action bias screams sell before it gets worse. When a stock surges, action bias screams buy before you miss it. When everything feels uncertain, action bias screams move your money somewhere safer. Every single one of those instincts, if followed consistently, produces worse outcomes than simply staying still. The investors who understand this don't fight their action bias through willpower. They design systems that make action harder than inaction. Automatic investments that require no monthly decision, long-term accounts that are psychologically difficult to access. Portfolio check schedules limited to quarterly rather than daily. They engineer patience into the process because they know their brain cannot be trusted to deliver it naturally. Let me give you the most powerful example of patience in investing history. Warren Buffett, the most celebrated investor alive. His strategy is not complicated. He buys wonderful companies at fair prices and then holds them, sometimes for decades. His position in Coca-Cola has been held since 1988, his position in American Express since the 1960s. But here is the number most people don't focus on. Over 99% of Warren Buffett's wealth was accumulated after his 50th birthday. Not because he suddenly got smarter at 50, but because compound interest needed time. Decades of time. And he had the patience to let it work without interrupting it. His greatest investing skill is not intelligence. It is the ability to do nothing for extraordinarily long periods while everyone around him reacts, panics, and second guesses. Now here is the third and final reason patience beats intelligence. And it is the most mathematically significant of all. Patience eliminates the cost of being wrong at the wrong time. Every intelligent investor who tries to time the market will eventually be wrong. Markets move unpredictably. Being wrong at the wrong moment, selling before a recovery, missing the 10 best days in a decade, can permanently damage long-term returns. Research from JP Morgan shows that missing just the 10 best market days in a 20-year period cuts total returns roughly in half. 10 days out of 7,300. But those 10 days are impossible to predict. And they almost always occur during periods of maximum fear and uncertainty, exactly when intelligent, impatient investors have already moved their money to safety. Patient investors never miss those days. Because they were never trying to avoid them. They were simply still there. So here is what developing investing patience actually looks like in practice. Automate your investments so monthly decisions are removed entirely. Set a portfolio review schedule and stick to it. Stop following daily financial news that is designed to provoke reaction, not reward. Define your investing timeline in decades, not months, and remind yourself consistently that the goal is not to be right every quarter. The goal is to still be invested when compound interest delivers its most powerful results. Because intelligence tells you what to buy. Patience is what actually makes you rich. And in a world built to make you react, the investor who simply refuses to wins almost every time. If this changed how you think about investing, hit subscribe. And be honest with me. What is the most impatient investing decision you have ever made? Drop it in the comments. Because I think every single one of us has one.